What's going on, Leaguers? How's everybody doing tonight? So
Good.
right now we got me, Paul, and Josh. Chris should be joining us soon. Andy said he'll be on tonight. We got Zippy coming in about 30 minutes or so, and I have a special guest, an advocate from the U.S. that's going to come on and talk about the roundtable things that happened this week. Before we get started on that, I want to go ahead and have Josh, show us what he's vaping, and then we'll have Paul, and then I'll show y'all what I'm vaping tonight.
Right, so I'm on a. Oh, hello everybody. How you doing? Hope you're all well. I'm on a few setups tonight. So I'm on Siege with the Elite, and that's got some South Boy key lime cookie in it. One of my all-time favourites. I've been gladly vaping enough 2 Sieges, so a different Siege with the 4 Horsemen Conquest in that, which is really good. My Exile, my Parallel, and that's got Prohibition Booze Hound on the inside. And then just picked this up a moment ago, literally vaped it for the first time about 5 minutes ago. Little Orchid, and that's got some Ultimate Salts. It's 10 milligram Nick Salt, grape and strawberry.
All right, and we got Andy on here.
There he is.
Hey,
I can't hear anything at the moment.
what are you vaping on there, Paul?
So, hi everyone. This is what I'm on this evening. Got the customary Nostromo. Tonight, I'm using the QP Gata with the bell cap with some nice mixed berry salts in there.
Nice.
And my shiny for this week is the Doom X.
Nice.
Which I got the other day, which I'm absolutely loving. Customary halfling cap, of course. Juice wise in there. Breaking the cycle a little bit. No, that way. So I'm using a lemon custard, which, as everyone knows, I don't go for anything desserty, but this is absolutely incredible. And that is what I'm on this evening.
Nice. All right, Andy, what are you vaping on tonight?
Tonight I am vaping on. I've got my Exile with the Elite. Let me just sort this camera out a sec. Yeah, sorry. No, that's worse. I'm just going to get a thing. Yeah. So I've got my Exile with the Elite V2 on top. Obviously, Half Moon drip tip. Prohibition syntax in there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love this. It's that peanut butter custard one, which I absolutely love. And I've got my Orion, and in this, I've got some of the Yogi banana. It's banana and peanut butter granola bar. It's Nick Salt's 10 milligram only though, because that's about as high as I'll go. But yeah, that's all I'm vaping on tonight.
Awesome. All right. Let's see here. I'm on my Mech Life right now with my Turk V2, always Half Moon tip. I'm actually dripping Angry Bears on that one. It's that it's like a Dunkaroo. It's like a Teddy Graham dipped in frosting. And then we got the new Grim all-in-one, and I got some 6 milligram blueberry Nola bar from Sad Boy in there. And I always have my Cold Steel mod, but tonight I'm rocking this new Manta RTA. I really like it. It's got dual aliens in it, and it hits amazing. And I'm running some Prohibition like Andy, riding shotgun.
Yeah, I need to get some more riding shotgun because I absolutely love that juice.
Yeah, you need to get
it's amazing.
I've got the chocolate one, the newer chocolate one that's come out. I've got that.
That chocolate one's amazing. Mike let me try Expo, and it's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
it is nice, but I do prefer the other one. Sorry, I'm just looking for a cable. But yeah, I prefer the one that Nate's got there, the riding shotgun.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I think they're going to struggle to beat that, no matter what they come out with.
See, I really want to try the White Lightning one.
It's actually pretty good too.
See, that is up my street. That is.
Actually, if y'all are okay with it, I'd like to introduce Krabs to the leaguers, and we're going to bring him on and start talking about the round table. And real quick, we got Chris just showed up too, so we're going to have a full house tonight.
Hello, guys. Sorry about the late turn off.
You're fine, brother. So we're going to introduce Krabs. He's a friend of mine from the U.S., and he's another really good advocate for the industry, and we're just going to do a little round table of our own. So, Krabs, welcome to the panel, and introduce yourself to everybody.
What's up, guys? Stephen Crabtree. I luckily met Rabbit on my travels. I'm with Rogue Liquids. We're based out of Daytona, Florida. I happen to live in Tennessee. First, I want to say, pleasure to meet the real Jason Statham. How awesome is that?
Yeah.
That's just a really long old joke.
Just like
wish you would be.
Yeah.
Right on.
So what are you vaping on, Krabs?
Right now, I've got the Purge Slim Piece with the Cali V2 with some Mad Bucks Buckin' Nuts.
Oh, nice. Peanut butter cookie.
Yeah, love that. The right next to me, the Hammer of God V4 with the Tango Melon from Transistor.
Woo!
Yeah, I got one of the V4s as well.
And then the Purge Ally with some Surf Balance, I believe it. The coconut cream. Yeah, Balance.
Yeah, that one's good. All right, so I really just kind of want to jump into things. I know all of us on the panel got to watch the live feeds, and honestly, I just want to get an outside perspective on maybe what other people are thinking. So I figured, who else but my buddy Krabs, bring him on the show and see what he's thinking. So if you could just start us off with how you think the how it went, and your opinions on things that happened during the roundtable discussion.
So I was actually working at the shop that I was at, so I had to catch it in bits and pieces. But I will say I pretty much believe I got to see the whole thing. First off, I still to this day can't get over how much I can't stand Mitt Romney and his freaking these guys are the number one. Dude. It was bad. Yeah, but overall, I think it went really well for us. I think the vape advocates that were there have nerves of steel to sit there and be talked over as they were numerous times. Every time that they were to present anything of truth, and I think we got a lot of our information out properly. I was really highly. Let's say here, I was surprised that Trump was as he wanted as much information as possible, and the way that he was reacting to that information, I thought was really good for us. Yeah, I couldn't believe that for him to start off and say that he can't forget what prohibition does, and every time one of the ants was going to say something, or they would give some reason as to why they should ban all flavors, he would ask, "Okay, what's your proposition as to how to deal with the
counterfeits?
The counterfeits in the black market?" And they had nothing. It's like they didn't discuss it at all. We're just going to come out here and say kids, and they're going to say, "Okay, then flavors are gone," and that's not what happened.
Yeah.
I think if it was going to be extremely bad, that we would have probably have heard something already. I was very impressed.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Gregory Connolly did an amazing job. Speaking the facts. I don't know if I could have held my cool as good as he did. When Mitt Romney, I'm not going to stick on Mitt Romney too much because me and my wife discussed it before the show, and she's like, "Don't get too focused on Mitt Romney," because she knows how I feel about him. But there was a point in the roundtable discussion where he said something along the lines of talking about Juul. Well, they're number one, and kept saying it like over and over again. They're number one. Well, they're the biggest. They're number one. They're the biggest. And I'm thinking to myself, that's what the league is saying for 3 months. We've been screaming it at the top of our lungs. Stop lumping vaping into Juul. Like, it's not the same thing. Yes, they both can be used to help you get off of cigarettes, and that I'm cool with. But we all know the large majority of stock for Juul are owned by big tobacco companies. We know that they work alongside of them. So pointing out, that what they're doing is good and giving them kudos, they're the ones that started this. If you look at everything that went towards marketing to children, everything that they have proved was from Juul. Like with the people going to the schools and talking to the kids, like all of that was pointed back to Juul. I think it's like 80-something% of the products that have been confiscated from underage vapors have been Juul. So I think it's ridiculous that he kept talking about how they're number one. There's no number one. Like, vaping is not the same thing. Like, they have to separate us from that. Like, I can't. I'm so sick of being lumped into this. Like, it's just a big blanket over everything. Cartridges, pot system, like Juul. It's not all the same thing. We fought hard for this industry. Like, we all put in what. All the guys that have been here for a long time, we put in a lot of work to build this industry up to what it is. And it sure as hell was not Juul. Like, they didn't build the community. They didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, this industry is more than just a product. Like, they have to get past that. They've got to see past that. And then him laughing about all the people at vape shops to hardly make any money. Like, what's their job? You know what I'm saying?
That's minimum wage.
That's the way he broke the jobs down. That really pissed me off. The way he said, 10,000 vape stores, 4 employees per store, probably at minimum wage. What about all the manufacturers? What about all of the people that work in the juice companies? What about everybody else? The people behind the scenes, not just the people selling it. He's forgetting the industry as a whole there. I really think it was bad the way that he whittled that down to 10,000. And then he'd come up with some statistic, some number comparison to how many kids were addicted per person who was employed. And I'm sorry, but that was just complete bullshit. I was just like, what the hell? Even Trump's face. I mean, he at some of the things, and he was pushing Juul when he was asking them questions. He kept saying to him, "So you think flavors are dangerous? That's why you've removed them." And it was quite clever. He was looking to see how low Juul would go. Do you know what I mean? And what depths they'd step to. Whether they say, flavors are dangerous. But I just think it's with them, like the way that they've done it is they've looked at the way things are going and they've just hedged their bets. They can always bring out more flavors again in the future.
Honestly, man, when he started horse laughing about them destroying our industry, like, I almost lost it. Like, he was horse laughing. Like, he was laughing so hard he almost fell out of his chair about them banning flavors. Like, that's the destruction of an industry. Like, so many people lose their jobs, not to mention how many people die a year in the U.S. alone from cigarettes, and you're laughing about it like it's an off-the-cuff thing, like it's not a big deal. Take the flavors. It's like, seriously, bro? Like, this seems like a very important thing you're talking about, and you're over here giggling and freaking grab ass. Like, come on, man. Like, are you kidding me?
You see how much that Trump actually cares, however, though, because as soon as they said 100,000 jobs and it actually registered, he was like, 100,000 what? 100,000 what? And then he was like, wait, so Juul, you don't have flavors, but yet your business is increased. It's doubled.
Yeah.
then what's the problem here? It's more. I think that was a very big answer to him, to himself. He said, "Oh, okay, I see what the problem is here. It's you. You know, it's you. I got this guy right here sitting next to me that is putting you on this pedestal, and that is not the place to be, obviously, because you started it with the flavors, you took them out, and it didn't do a difference because your business has continued to grow, even though the media and everybody tries to say that kids are hooked on Juul, which is over 80% of what has been collected from schools, but yet you're still growing. So that obviously you in that situation is the problem.
And you know why? Because they're doing the same thing that like lots of people have done, and they're having companies in China make their products, change packaging, and sell the flavors still over here. You can go to any convenience store and buy Juul compatible pods. It's funny that they're identical. I don't know how they managed to pull that off. Best clone ever, I guess. And then it's the same fucking flavors. On top of that, they're adding more flavors. No wonder your business picked up. You're focusing on getting the product out, the mod out for cheap, and you're having all your juices done over in China and then shipped to the US. So yeah, your business went up. Yeah, there's not Juul marketed flavors, but there's still Juul flavors. Like, let's keep it real. You're just having someone else make them and put a different name on it. Call it a J Pod or whatever the hell they're called, and they fit. And now they went from like 5 flavors. I think when I went by the convenience store on the way to the shop, there was like 13 to 20 different flavors for Juuls, like compatible for Juuls. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm just hoping that he sees through the bullshit. Like, please, like, just, you got to see through the bullshit. There's too much. I mean, like we've been saying, follow the money. Like it's so obvious. Like these non-profits pop up out of nowhere, and they're so large that they can fly to every capital, every event, every rally, and put kids out there on the stand and put kids out in front of Capitol buildings. But they're running non-profits. Like, come on, man. Like,
what about the athletes that can't run anymore? Like that whole thing about the kids, like parents not knowing their kids anymore. They were talking about it like they were smoking crack or something. I'm not, was it, I sat there, I was thinking, is this just me or what? But that whole athletes can't run a certain distance anymore.
Star athletes that can't even run a mile. Star athletes can't even run a mile.
I mean, come on. It was just sensation. It was just being like, how can I say? It was just grandstanding, and it was just kind of like grandstanding, and there was no actual numbers or figures that actually had any significance that went against, flavors being right. There was nothing I could see. All it was these sob stories. The mums, all these mums across the US, we were all in, in this state of whatever, and that's how it seemed to me. It was just basically a sob story versus numbers. But hopefully Trump listened to the actual facts and not the bullshit that was flying around, because there was a lot of bullshit flying around.
Yeah, seriously.
Can I just say, before we get any further into that, Vinny's having a little bit of family time tonight, so he is okay. Everything's cool, but we just ask that we just leave him be for the evening, please. Thank you.
Yeah, let him have a bit of
Jump him.
Vinny is dealing with some family stuff. He will be back next week. We're going to let him talk to the leaguers when he's back. Vinny is 100% okay. He's doing fine. He just needs some time to himself. So yeah, let's just, send him some love, maybe some positive thoughts, and we'll talk to Vinny about it next week. But so back on the topic, I honestly think that when it comes to like Greg Connolly, God, I'm having a brain fart right now.
Tony Abu.
Yeah, Tony was there. For the advocates that were there, though, I think that we did a great job. I think as an industry, we should be proud, because listening to them speak and how they kept their cool and composure, and they spoke with facts, and they spoke with like intelligence, and they gave them real numbers and things that you can actually research, not just throwing stuff out there like billions of kids are vaping. Like, come on, man. Like the shit they're saying doesn't even make sense. You're telling me that 5 million kids in the US are vaping Like,
I think somebody then said, I heard somebody say it, but not quite so loud. Somebody said, no, 5 million kids have tried vaping.
Yes.
That's what it is
Yeah.
in total over all of this time. 5 million kids have said, yeah, I've tried it.
And
Well,
I wonder
they
how many of those kids actually held up their hands and said, yeah, I've also tried cigarettes as well. Because I bet they didn't ask that question.
yeah.
And what
Alex in the comments, he's saying he was watching something where kids were talking about where they started vaping, and there was a kid saying that he started using Juul at the age of 14. He is now 18. Didn't Juul come out until 2 years ago?
No, they've been out. They've
No,
been out for a while.
ages. I think it's the UK market that we've only seen them over here in the last 2 years. But yeah, they've been around since day dot.
But
Vaping used to make a lot of their juice, a lot of their liquids from the
Juul, as in owned by Big Tobacco Juul.
okay, so Big Tobacco bought into them 4 years ago, but they've been out for like 6, I think. I have to do some research, but I know
they've been around longer than that.
once they started the PTM, once they started the PMP scare, Big Tobacco jumped on that boat, you know what I'm saying, and tried to get in on the company. But to me, when I'm reading this comment, the biggest thing that stands out is 14. He started vaping Juul at 14. That is illegal. Like, come on. Like,
Extremely illegal.
we're going to destroy an industry of adult vapors because kids are illegally getting products. Guess what? I got tons of shit when I was underage. None of those companies are out of business or under fire. None of them. Not cigarette companies, not freaking alcohol companies. You know how many times we got drunk in high school or smoked cigarettes behind the bleachers? Like, come on, man. Like, honestly, like, it blows my mind that people don't see that this is just money. It's just about money. They want to get rid of us because they see us growing way too fast, and they know we will be competition to help people quit. Our whole industry is built on helping people.
Anybody with a brain can see that Juul are the problem. You know, like they're the problem. The solution, I think, would be to cap the nicotine amounts and say, like, well, we've got over here 20 milligram.
Yes.
You know, I think there's any need for anybody to be, vaping anything stronger than that. You know, like that's just too much. And I think if they did that, that would stop that problem there with all the kids wanting to get a buzz or whatever they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Whatever they're doing it for, I think that'd go some way. And I've said it before about parenting. I mean, come on, you can't. What they're expecting the government to parent their kids, and everybody else is miss out because some parents haven't got control of their kids.
So
I bet you some of them parents, they said the one kid was 9 years old. What the hell?
Yeah. Yep. Why are his parents not?
Where are his parents at? Do you know what I mean?
I've never take vaping out, like anything to do with vaping, e-cigarettes, whatever. If it's to do with vaping, it should be taken out of all corner shops, all petrol stations, and any other place other than a vape shop.
Yeah, and vape shops just have to be super vigilant with IDing people, which I know a lot are, but there's also some that aren't.
Actually, tonight I was in a local store, B&M. You guys, English guys will know it.
Yeah.
They basically sell crap, all different types of crap. And some woman was trying to buy 10 ml bottles of e-liquid. Now, me and my wife, we both looked at her and went, she's clearly older than, the age to buy them. But they challenged 25 of them because she didn't have any ID, bounced her ass. And if that kind of shop can do it, every freaking shop should do it.
Yeah.
I mean, about 6 years ago, B&M, same place, refused to sell me a pack of lighters because I had like 15-year-old stepson with me. They thought I was buying them for him. And it was just like, what? Like I'm 40 years old now. So do you know what I mean? I was like 30 odd then. And it's just crazy. But they are, some places, a lot of places in the UK, convenience stores, places like Spa and stuff like that, it's their policy. If you look under 25, you get asked for ID. And that's it. And, if you haven't got it,
Challenge 25 is UK policy. You look under 25, you get ID.
Yeah, that's UK policy. But you know, are vape shops following that as well? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that, you know, a lot are in the US and stuff like that, but I don't really know in the UK, if I'm honest with you, whether they are or they're not. I mean, I don't really go into a lot of like bricks and mortar vape shops, you know, so I couldn't tell you, you know, but if I'm honest with you, I haven't seen that many kids vaping either. You know, I see a lot of adults vaping. But you know, when I go out and about, I see a lot of adults vaping, but I don't see a lot of kids vaping. I don't see a lot of kids smoking either.
Yeah, I don't know where these 15 million kids are hiding, but they are really good at it.
Yeah, they're like camouflage to the max.
We actually had two kids come in the shop on Saturday. I had some friends here that kind of witnessed it. One of them was 19, which it's 18 older here, and one of them was underage, and they were hanging out together. And she come up to the counter, and right when I turned around, I saw them. I was like, you know, can I see some ID? And the one girl's like, and she starts patting her pockets, and I'm like, I have to have your ID. Like, you can't even be in the shop right now without me seeing your ID. So she goes, no, I have it. It's in the car. So she goes out to get her ID out of the car. And I look at the other kid. I said, I need yours too. And he flat out says, oh, I'm underage. I'm not buying nothing. I said, then you need to go outside and wait for her, you know, to get done. Like, to me, that's super important. Like, your shop needs to stay adult shop. There's a reason for that. Like, there's a reason that we are adult-owned businesses and we are adult, you know, it's an adult industry. If we're under attack for kids vaping, we need to be super vigilant about keeping kids out of vape shops. Because if they do a mass sting and they start popping these places and they find it, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to doctor the numbers. Well, 80% of the places that sold to kids were vape shops. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to make up some bullshit ass number. We have to stay ahead of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to keep on top of keeping these underage people away from our vape shops. I feel like that's going to be one of the biggest changes is, if they don't take away our flavors, they're going to make it to where you have to go to a shop to get them, which I'm cool with. Like, we should have a way to track these products. We should know where they're going. And I also think that there was a good point brought up in the roundtable where they said the quantity of products bought, because if a grown-up goes into a shop and buys 30 Juul kits and 30 pods and you know what I'm saying? What do you think they're doing with them? Like, it's pretty obvious. So if you just like, if someone come in my shop and they're like, I need 100 mil of this and 60 mil of that's fine. If they come in and they say, I need 10 of these in 3, I need 5 of these in 3, I need 8 of these. Like, what do you think they're doing? Yeah.
They're reselling.
Exactly. And probably to underage people. That's why they're doing it. So I think there is some things we can do to fix it and at least help keep it out of their hands, but we have to work together. We have to be a united front. We can't keep fighting with these organizations. I actually reached out to Parents Against Vaping. I know some of y'all are like, what? But I did. I sent them an email, and I actually started following their page on Facebook and commenting on their posts positive things like, we don't want kids vaping either, and we need to work together. You can't take away my flavors because kids are getting them. Let's work as a team and keep them away from them. Like, that's what we should be doing. Like, you can't take our stuff because, to me, that's insane. I can't even believe it's a topic. Like, seriously, like, it blows my mind that we're even having to sit here and discuss this.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to be said about the amounts of quantity of stuff being bought. I think that's a good idea. You know, if you've got people coming in and they're buying like cases of disposable, do you know what I mean, cigalikes or whatever, that's pretty obvious what they're doing. Or you could just refuse to sell them.
Yeah,
that type of product, which is what I think could be the best thing, really.
I think there's one other problem too that is brought up that, to me, what I heard, I thought, come on now, is they said they're using it and they think it's candy. It's like, okay, all right, listen, all right, I gotta know exactly what happened here. Your kid come up to you and was like, oh no, Mom, you mean there's nicotine in there? I thought it was just candy flavored.
Yeah,
I was told it was just water vapor. And then the mom was like, "Oh, come here, poor baby." Well, and then the government banned this. It come on, man. I'm not saying don't listen to your kids, but that's a flat out freaking lie.
Yeah, that was bullshit. They didn't even know it was addictive. I mean, come on.
Get out of here.
You know?
Yeah, that's and they're letting these statements be legislation. I mean, they're basically taking it and making it to the situation that we're in right now. Is exactly what the kid said. Yeah. Anyway, that's as soon as I heard that, I just kind of thought, and then every single thing that they said, like Rabbit said, it was all based on feeling. There was no hard factual numbers for us to actually go on. And then, like you said, when they said that the amount, I thought, wow, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, it did not even think of that. But
like, when I was a kid drinking cider, I could have turned around and said to my parents, I thought it was apple juice that gave me a nice warm feeling.
Yeah. Like seriously. Hey, Krabs. Before you go, I know you got stuff you got to get going.
Yeah.
Just real quick, what is your opinion on what would probably be the best thing, or what do you think? Like from your perspective, what you've been seeing, what you've been dealing with, going around to all these shops, talking to owners and stuff like that, what do you think, in your opinion, that's going to happen?
I think that the way that we see things now is probably going to greatly change. I have hopes that there will still be a decent amount of products on the market. Instead of just the big guys that are able to be able to make that. And then I think a lot of our colors and on boxes, and it's going to be pretty bland. So it's going to be probably pretty hard to distinguish between products. I kind of see that as well. But I do still see that our flavors are allowed to be there. I think it's just going to be a way that we market it. Just a quick. Did you get a chance to read the VTA technology? Let's see, the Vapor Technology Association 21 and done like plan list. Did you get a chance to read that?
I skimmed over some of it. I didn't discuss. I was just talking about it with my wife actually earlier today. I honestly think a broad spectrum 21 for everybody is not a bad thing. Like I really don't.
I don't. There's actually quite a few more people that I thought that was actually against that, but I completely understand why. One, if we don't think you're competent enough to drink alcohol, I especially don't think you're competent enough to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
That's a life addicting habit that you're going to have from here on. But I do believe that 21 is going to happen. I've been saying that for a minute. I do believe that they're probably going to it'll be vape shops only, and I think that your pod systems, your closed pod systems, that'll probably only be in convenience stores, or if they do want to carry them in convenience stores, it'll be a much higher tax. I kind of think that standalone vape shops are probably going to get like a tax break as far as that goes. If you're a standalone vape shop and the only thing that you carry is or at least like 70% or whatever of your products is higher, then you would be excluded from that tax. Then of course the 21 and then the restrictions on on marketing and I'm not, when I say bland, I don't mean like it's going to be black and white. I just don't think it's going to be as the pictures and everything as there are now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Which I'm totally fine with. I mean, it was kind of upsetting to see, Coca-Cola or Fanta, makeover, or the Krispy Kreme makeover, or the Rice Krispies makeover.
Yeah,
I didn't like seeing that. You can do that with clever wording if you want to, but to put the actual like blatant picture on the bottle,
I wasn't a fan either.
Yeah. So I am actually kind of excited for all the changes and to see how it goes forward. I think it's going to hurt for a lot of people probably, because when they do the 18 to 21, if they don't grandfather it in, then the shops won't have the ability to transition into that loss. It's going to be like a 30, maybe a 40% loss. I mean, how much Salt Nick do you sell? It's a lot of shops. It's like that's all they brought in their shop. So we are going to lose probably going to lose a decent amount of shops because of that. So we are going to see a drop, which isn't a problem. But I do also think there's going to be a nicotine cap. I've heard a couple of times that 35 may have been what the U.S. was talking. So rather they take the example from you guys over there. I would like to think they would, but It'd rather be 20 or 35. I'm not sure, but I do believe there's going to be a nicotine cap.
That's why I push sub them so hard at the shop.
Yeah, I know. And just to say what you first said, when you first said that when they hit the market, that they went instantly to market to kids, and that was kind of obvious that they wanted people to get on their product and stay on their product because we had basically created a market standard of 0, 3, and 6 with very few people that would come in and want a 12 or an 18 or something. And then Joel come out 50. You know, when I talk to people that don't know anything about it and I explain it to them like that, they're like, whoa, 50? They're like, yeah, 6 as the highest to 50. Yeah. It's mind blowing. Yeah, it's insane. It is insane. So these are really great changes. I'm very thankful that we actually got to have this opportunity to even have that meeting, because as we know, every time that we had even close to a meeting similar to this, it got canceled. Before the rally, there was one on Wednesday with the that got canceled, and I guess I was supposed to go to represent a shop, and thankfully I didn't because I'd just been down there, just waiting for you guys. So. I'm thankful for this. I think I do finally feel, and I don't know about you guys, but I've kind of felt like this. I'm not cool, calm, and relaxed, but I don't feel near as bad as I did, September 11th.
It's definitely better that we got people in there to speak for our side. Like that definitely feels a lot better.
You're right, and it makes me feel like if Trump's going to have any more questions to ask, he's going to know who to go talk to. And I feel like there's a good chance that he may talk to him again, maybe on a one-on-one situation just to get a better – because there were times, like he was saying, when he was saying that, listen, that 5 million number is conflated amongst, all your other statistics. It's not 5 million. 5 million is also stands with people that literally said that they tried it once and they were done. So that 5 million is not 5 million. And as he was trying to say that, everybody, and that was another thing I wanted to say is if people thought that the roundtable meeting sounded more negative than positive, that the reason why was the majority of that room was not for us. So, so just to explain that, and I would like to think that there would be another meeting that would happen where they could get a little bit more one-on-one information going from our side. But
I'm sure there will be. I'm sure there will be.
I think so as well. Yeah.
Well, listen, we just want to say thank you for coming on the show, Krabs. Appreciate you. And if you ever want to come on again, we'll hit you up and get you back on. But seriously, from me and all the guys at LXV, we appreciate you coming on and talking with us, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, thank you, guys.
We
Jason,
love you, man.
have a good one. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
Appreciate it. Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Well, that was awesome.
See a fellow bull ginger.
Another ginger.
So basically, the way that I saw everything live, I only got up to about halfway through of watching the real long, the full, there's an hour long clip, wasn't there?
Yeah.
About an hour long. I'm about halfway through watching it because I kept rewinding so I could hear what people were shouting. This kind of sounded like hecklers in the distance and stuff, And I wanted to try and hear what a lot of people were saying. But there weren't really a lot of facts and figures really brought that could be actually substantiated by anybody that was anti-vaping, and that's basically the way that I took it, was there was no cold hard facts there, and it was just, like I said earlier on, sob stories. I don't know if that was just me that feels that way, but
and one thing to remember as well about Trump is no matter what any of our personal opinions of the man are, he knows when he's being fobbed off, and he would look at those figures and go, these don't seem right, So I'm holding out hope that he does kind of take it with what he's got and go, right, well, let me see some more evidence because these don't add up.
like I say, when he kept asking Joel, he kept saying, so you removed flavors because you think they're dangerous, right? You think they're dangerous. And they were like, no, well, we saw they were the problem, and that's why we removed them from our line. And, you know, and then there was people there and they were saying, look, you know, yeah, okay, you might have stopped producing them now, but you can still buy them everywhere because the distros and stuff bought so much stock. They've got warehouses full of the stuff that's still being sold. So, you know, although you can say, hey, you know, we stopped it at such and such date, unless they recalled all of their products, do you know what I mean? Unless they recalled it all, then it doesn't really mean shit.
Which you can bet your bottom dollar that they won't have done.
No, of course not, because they'd have to refund everybody.
And another thing I do know about Trump is a very, very good businessman. So this kind of thing's falling into his natural abilities.
Yeah, I mean,
worth a fair bit of money, and he's obviously, you know, I don't know his full background, but I do know he's obviously a very well-known businessman. So it's kind of falling into that, and I think them trying to pull the wool over his eyes business-wise, it's not going to really work because he's going to see straight through it.
Well, no, hopefully he understands about the business side of it more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very smart businessman. Like, we know that. I think that I guess my only thing is I pray to God that he's actually listening to everything. Because if you look at all the facts and then you look at the fake facts, like the propaganda, the stuff that they're trying to push, it's almost impossible not to notice it. Like, they didn't just make them bigger, like they flat out blew these numbers up like sky high. Like, it's just, if you would have came out and said, you know, 50,000, you know, underage are vaping or something like that, that would be more understandable. But 5 million, like, come on, bro. Like, that's just insanity. And we actually got Zippy here.
There he is. Look.
What's up,
Sorry.
bro?
I'm not good, man. I'm done.
He's exhausted.
That long finished work, man. It's been long gas. But it's all good. So how are we all this evening?
Yeah,
Good.
We've actually been talking about our opinions from what we saw on the round table. And I mean, now that you're on here, if you want to kind of give us what you think, what your opinion was, what you saw.
To be honest, with the way that I've been this week, I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of it. But, you know, the overall gist that I get from it is that, you know, hopefully this is going to be taken a lot more seriously and open-minded. And, you know, I mean, the worry is that, yeah, Trump can turn around and say, well, okay, I'm not going to take part in it. But there's nothing to stop these senators doing it. And that's the problem that I see.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're the ones that are getting whipped by the lobbyists, you know, the senators, and you know, if they allow it to be a state-by-state sort of legislation type thing, then there's going to be problems. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like,
the only thing that we can hope is that it causes a bit of infighting towards them. Because, you know, I think people in the offices now are starting to be a bit more swayed and, you know what I mean? There's a lot of truth coming out now. You know, there's more and more things coming out. You know, people are still bringing out these stories and they're literally being blown out of the water from the beginning, which is a good thing. You know what I mean? They're not getting the shares on there and stuff. So, you know, there's signs of coming together, but, you know, it's still a long way off yet. There's still going to be more and more challenges, I think.
I agree 100%. I think it's going to be a big difference. Like, it's going to be, it's not going to be the same as it is now. But I also don't think that the community side is over. I think that we're going to probably have to rebuild, and we're going to have to start, you know, probably really close to from scratch. But like, our number one thing right now is don't take away our flavored vaping products. Like, if they can keep that, if we can win that, I will at least have something to rebuild on. If you leave,
it gives you it gives you a livelihood at the end of the day. You know, you and tens of thousands of others. You know, jobs and everything else. So, you know, the flavour ban now, people are realising just how badly this is going to impact. And I mean, wasn't there a senator this week that turned around and said something about minimum wage and stuff like that?
oh,
Yeah.
God,
But,
yeah.
you know, what a twat. You know, people and families are dependent on this, and not being funny. I mean, I don't know quite the situation over there, how it like works over there, but I'm assuming that these people that they're going to quite happily put out of business, that state's going to be prepared to keep them until, you know, other jobs and stuff are found.
Yeah, I mean, like what's happened?
It's
the shops that have
costing.
been shut down. I mean, the people that work there and stuff like that, the shops have already gone. What's happened to them people? What are they doing to put food on their family's table now? I mean, you know, it's like, you know, because it's already, some of that's already happened.
Yeah. A lot. There's been a lot of layoffs and a lot of shops closing. I mean, look at, like, we should actually send a prayer for Massachusetts, man. Like, I'm talking last week, like they literally went from Monday of still being able to sell flavors because of some appeal in court to Friday with the governor signing a fucking like stop, like instantly. Like they went to they are clearing all flavored tobacco products. They use that as kind of a crutch. They're like, well, we're not just going after flavored vape. We're getting rid of menthol cigarettes and menthol, and flavored cigars and all like whatever. But the funny thing is, and not funny, honestly, the sad thing is that the vaping part of it starts immediately, like immediately. So immediately they have to remove all flavored vaping products, but they have until like summer of 2020 for the tobacco products. Like seriously, like that did nobody saw like a freaking light bulb, like ding ding. Oh shit! Like I mean, it's pretty obvious exactly what they went after. Like they're gonna make sure they get that as much money as they can off those menthol cigarettes before those come off the shelf. I guarantee.
Yeah.
I was just looking now. Matt Gumber just said UK VIA are under pressure now to kick Juul out of their group. That's like the UK Vaping Industry Association. I mean, like,
well, they should.
Good. Get rid of
it. I mean, I put in the comments earlier, you know, we've got to remember, Juul have never been openly accepted into the vape community. They never have been. No. We've always argued that fact. They are not a vape device, as in our true sense.
Exactly, and they're not.
You know what I mean? We've argued about the nicotine. We've argued about, you know, how they were given out in the first place. You know, you filled in a questionnaire when they launched over here. I mean, you know, I don't know if you guys remember it, but you could go on the internet, fill in a question, fill in a quick form, and you had it sent to your house, man.
Yep.
There was no age checking, no restriction, no nothing.
No.
You know, and that campaign and push went on for months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, they were given out freely. You know, you walk down the shop, you walk down the road, somebody seen you, and it was like, oh, you're a smoker. You know, have you tried one of these? You know, take one of these and go and have a blast.
Yeah. Same with Blue as well, wasn't it? They were literally going into vape shops and giving them a display case and fill it up with stock and going, just give these out. Or they were doing the whole selling for £1 thing as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
I saw that.
You know what I mean? They had their own store. You go down the high street or somewhere, like your little town centre, they had pop-up stands in the middle of the where you normally have the Virgin, Sky Cellars. Yeah. They had them. You know what I mean? It was like, you know, have one of these.
Honestly, the channel there saying we as a community should start a boycott against Juul and stop supporting stores that support Juul. And I agree with that. If I go into a store and I see they've got Juul or Blue, I mean, they better bend over and be prepared to get a ream because, you know, like I just say it how it is. But
well, not being funny, I'll go further than that. If you run a vape store and you're stocking Juul or Blue, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Because you are not a vape. You're not a vape store.
Left shop doing that.
Any vape store that's genuine and has been in this industry from, you know, not just the beginning, but, you know, 5 years after the beginning, everything else, they've always stood for the same thing. Vaping is not tobacco, and it will never fucking be part of it. So if they're in your shop, you should be asking yourself, you know, anything liquid, anything to do with it,
the pods, all of it.
Get them out.
Yeah.
What are you supporting them for? You're arguing about the very thing that you're sitting there supporting.
And even if you held on to it for just the pods to make a couple quick bucks, and you watch that fucking round table, and you didn't instantly grab everything Juul related and throw it in the fucking trash, something is wrong with you. After listening to what that representative had to say about what Juul's doing, sitting there like kissing ass, trying to act like they did something big. Like, let's be real. I can't believe someone didn't bring up. Oh, actually, no, wait. Someone did. Someone did bring up the fact that Juul sells a shit ton of counterfeit fucking pods in the U.S. So,
Yeah.
Oh well, we took all flavors off of out of the Juul or off the Juul. Well, yeah, of course you did, because you got another company making them and rebranding them and selling the shit out of them. How exactly did you get rid of all your flavors and now your freaking stocks have went up? We know what happened, because you got other people making the fucking pods and you got a new label on them and you make sure they get into the right stores where the majority of them are sold. Like, let's just be real. All vape shops got to stand up. Fuck Juul. Let's get people vaping again. Let's make this fucking industry what it was. Like, let's get back to that. Let's get away from that shit, man. We have to.
You come into the problem, though, where you've got vape stores that are owned by people like yourself, and then you've got vape stores that are owned by just people that just want to make money. I mean, you know, at the moment, for consumer goods wise, vaping is the fastest growing sector in the UK, the e-cigarette market. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's a lot of money there, and there's a lot of people then are going to jump in and try and get on the bandwagon with that. And I've seen that myself, where you go into vape shops and all they sell is just, you know, starter kits and stuff like that. You know, and you ask the people behind the counter anything, and they haven't got a clue. You know, so it's a thing of, you know, of how can I say, the people that are in it just for the money, they're still going to sell the blue stuff, they're still going to sell the Juul stuff, and they're still going to do it because they're not part of the community. And but
hopefully with what's gone on, I mean, not being funny, this has been rumored for a long time, way before any of this started originally kicking off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's, you know, it's been spoken about time and time again, you know, but I don't think people quite thought about how much of a slap in the face to the vaping industry this was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, hopefully part of that, with the way that people are doing it now and stuff, I'm hoping that it brings a lot more, you know, a lot more people wanting to quit and customers back to the original vape stores, because people can see that we don't want any part of tobacco. So anything that's stocking tobacco, we don't class as a vape store.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Hopefully it will push people back to the genuine vape store that is there for advice, is there for help, you know, help you set up even, you know what I mean?
And
you know,
honestly,
that's where we need to be.
And honestly, a lot of people don't know this, but I quit a really good job. I made really good money to get into this industry. And if it all went tumbling down, I'd go get a good job. Yes, so my family will survive. That is not my main focus in this industry. I truly believe that we have an opportunity to save lives. Like, this is, I have gotten more rewards from getting people off of cigarettes emotionally, spiritually, from this industry than I ever did with money. Like, it's just something, like, it happened Saturday. I had someone that was a smoker that just happened to be with one of their friends that vaped, and they came in to get juice, and we had the smoker there, and it's like, let's convert him. Like, what the fuck? Like that. And watching him crush that pack of cigarettes and throw it on the floor of my shop, like it makes me feel amazing. Like we did something in the midst of all this shit going on. That one crushed pack of cigarettes made me feel so good because we have a life-saving technology at our fingertips. We have a chance to change the fucking world, and we're focused on all the wrong things. Like, I truly believe that we have an obligation to fight for this industry, regardless if you vape or not. It's the fact of what this industry stands for. Like, we have a chance here to make a fucking difference, and we have to do it. Like, we have to. Like, it blows my mind. I've seen friends of mine that have been doing this a while, right alongside me, and they're like, man, I can't do it anymore. And they go back and get a regular job, and they just like they forgot about it. Like, to me, I don't understand that shit. Like, we're talking about saving fucking lives. Like, we're talking about a technology that literally saves people's lives. Like, not only did it get me off of cigarettes, but according to my doctor, my lungs look like I've never fucking smoked.
Well, I had pneumonia a couple of weeks back, and they certainly never said it was anything to do with vaping. Do you know what I mean? And like, this is actually the first time I've had pneumonia since I started vaping. I've actually had it like 4 or 5 times in my life in total. I think it's like the first or second I've had it since I've been vaping. And basically, all that's there is some scar tissue in my lungs from previous pneumonia. There's no damage to my lungs at all from vaping. You know, I literally had chest X-rays and everything done a couple of weeks back. So, you know, it's just one of them things where I actually got to see it for myself because, you know, I went down with pneumonia. I literally couldn't breathe. And, you know, after that, and actually seeing the scan, seeing the X-rays and everything like that, and them saying to me, and the doctors even agreeing with me, you know, that, yeah, no, this is nothing to do with vaping. This is just pneumonia, you know, like once you've had it once, you're more likely to get it again. And that's that. Vape Shed here, there's a bit of a thing going on in the comments here. Vape Shed, you keep saying about Dinner Lady. They actually deny Big Tobacco involvement now. They've actually said that they're not funded by Big Tobacco or part owned by Big Tobacco. How true that is, I don't know, but that's what Dinner Lady is saying. Yeah. So,
that's always been a rumor, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's always been before as well.
I mean, who else is there now? Because it's not just Dinner Lady, is it?
No, they're saying IVG as well. You know, but I don't know how much they are. I mean, like if someone can actually show me.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to see actual like documentation.
Yeah, like this is the thing, you know, like people can say it all they want. But I mean, like IVG, they took something like 16 million in their first year turnover. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like a couple of years back, 16.6 million, I think it was in their first year. And I've never.
And to be fair, they hit the market hard, man.
Yeah, they did.
When they come out in a big stuff. Yeah, I'd be interested. I think that's where the question of Big Tobacco comes into it because people are saying, well, if they can come in that hard. And with the success that they had in such a short time, you know, that takes some heavy backing.
Takes some big funding, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, just you know what I mean? I think that's where part of that rumour stems from, to be fair. But Andy, because you're on. Sorry, Rabbit.
No, you're fine.
No, make your comment and talk. Because I'm going to change the subject slightly. Afterwards.
I was gonna say, I will actually do some research. I have a few connections that I can find actual like documentation. So I will do some research for the Vape Shed this week and see what I can find out about Dinner Lady and the other companies mentioned. So I'll see what I can find out, and we'll find out if it's factual or not.
Nice one. Because I know a few vape store owners, and I mean one of them in particular. I mean. Steve Hayward, he won't have anything. If he thinks that there's anything to do with tobacco, he won't. He will have that out of his shop.
I'm the same way.
He'll run people out of the shop for it.
That's what the shop.
Do you not think that could be sort of counterproductive, where it then becomes an us versus them type situation, though? And if you don't let Big Tobacco,
they've made it an us versus them, haven't they?
Kind of,
yeah.
Kind of.
You know what I mean? They have made it that mentality now. And yes, I believe it's one that we've got to change because, you know, they are always going to have something out there. the only thing that we can do is educate people on where that money's going that they're paying into.
All right,
You know what I mean?
Zippy's taking the floor. We're going on a topic change.
No, it was from before with the whole pneumonia conversation. Andy, there was something I tagged you in the other week before you were ill, and it was about that story with the lad, and somebody jumped on the comments.
Yeah, the guy who said that he had.
He was recently undergone. Yeah, and he was being tested.
Lung,
2 seconds, man.
He actually turned around this guy and he said that he's got a perforated lung through vaping, and his UK doctors were not allowed to speak out against vaping or say anything about it because of red tape. And then he said, when asked for proof, he basically said, I took a drag on my vape and my lung collapsed. What more proof do you need? That's literally what the guy said.
This was the guy that's apparently in Nottingham who said he'd been vaping for 5 years.
Yeah,
like all of a sudden,
it's something like that. Right, okay. So anybody that vapes, who says I'm going to have a drag on my vape for a start? That was the first thing with that guy. The way he was talking just made me
drag my vape.
Shit. Yeah, I'm going to have a drag on my vape. Nobody really that vapes says I'm going to have a drag on this.
No, I normally say I'm going to have a vape.
You know, like that's a smoke. That's smokers talk. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's you know, and for me that straight away raised a red flag. You know, stop the political shit in chat as well. Tories and Labour and Brexit. Don't get me started.
No.
Don't start him, please.
Man, let the leaguers speak.
I just keep hearing
Just ignore it.
If they want to talk about Brexit, let them speak, man. Because I have avoided Brexit for the last couple of weeks, man. I'm done hearing it.
Yeah,
but you know,
hey, listen,
everyone else can chat all they want.
I voted to remain, right? But the vote said to leave, right? I'm not voting on anything else ever again until we leave, right? Because it means nothing. It means nothing. And if we don't stand, regardless of whether I agree with it or not, if we don't do it, then democracy has failed completely in the UK.
That's the long and short, man.
Personal opinions, we live in a democracy. It was voted on. It was done.
Hang on.
Really should be over.
So do Americans, and we've seen what's happening there, man.
But the thing is that in America you've got a certain amount of vapors and you've got a load more non-vapors. It's the same as in the UK. If we start letting people that are non-vapors make decisions and vote on our issues, then that's where the problem starts. I mean, you know, there's a lot more non-vapors than there are vapors in anywhere. Do you know what I'm saying? So, you know, people were asked a blanket question. They just looked at it with their own self-interest. They'd probably vote for vaping to be gone, you know, if they didn't vape themselves. Right. And the honest truth, and that's the way a lot of people are. Doesn't affect me. I don't care, you know.
So do you reckon we're coming out this time or what?
John Whittaker's just shared something to the Vapor to the League page. The lawsuit allegations. Jewel, if you guys can see it.
Paul.
Hello.
I'm about to post the picture on our. I'm trying to load it right now.
Same one.
I was actually sitting here trying to load the picture. That's what, so I could show the.
Rabbit's getting creative. Rabbit's getting creative, man.
You see, we're not used to this level of professionality.
I know what's going on here. I've been away a couple of weeks. I come back. It's all changed.
Yeah. See.
Hello, Andy.
We've only got to get rid of him now.
on a slightly different, not a slightly different topic, but a similar topic, and I needed to look into it. I haven't had a chance yet, but I saw that Graham Greene posted something about what was going on in Spain the other day. Has anybody got an idea about what's going on in Spain? They had a bit of a rally and I was over there last weekend. I was only over there for the weekend, but I think I saw, and I was in Barcelona. I think I saw probably 2 or 3 vapors.
Right.
But I was walking around with a mech, and not one person batted an eyelid. Like over here, if I walk around, if I walk outside of a mech, which I sometimes do, I don't do it all the time. There's always someone that looks at me.
Yeah.
Like, I understand.
Yeah.
That, you know that. But
Big cloud in their face.
not one person.
No, we're not allowed to do that.
Well, according to our good friend Google,
Well, you've got to have something like that when you're out and about, so you can.
Yeah.
No. You can have one of these.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
needed to look into it just to see what was going on.
Okay, so
I mean, that's
I got a little something. We were talking about Juul. This is something that was posted. See what y'all think about it.
Half of customers.
Yeah, I've heard about that. That's what they said. I think that's what they said back in September or summer.
Yeah.
Was that actually one of his. That was actually.
Yeah, he said
Yeah,
is going to notice the quality of our pods. He said half our customers are drunk and vaping like a motherfucker. Who the fuck's who is going to notice the quality of our pods?
Yep.
That's Juul. That's the company that these fucking shit show shops are carrying.
That's
How you
it.
doing, Chris? I forgot to send Chris a notification. Actually, I left my phone in the other room. I was meant to send a couple of people a link, but I left my phone in the front room. So I didn't get.
Coming here all disorganised. Who do you think you are?
hey,
At least I've got an excuse.
He said it right there, mate. The real Jason Statham. Look.
So, man.
But going back on what Josh just said then about he saw about 1 or 2 people vaping in Spain, right? When I went to Amsterdam, I was there this time 2 years ago. The last time I was there, and I literally saw one other person vaping, and he was somebody else that was out there at the same rave type festival that I went to out there, like, and he was from London. So you know, I did not see in central Amsterdam anywhere a single dedicated vape shop.
I didn't
And
see one in Barcelona.
no, not one person looked down their nose at me for vaping, but then they don't look down their nose at you for smoking over there still. Like,
I mean, lots of smoking, obviously, in Spain.
yeah, I mean, they've still got smoking rooms in the nightclub pubs and stuff over
With
there.
the slice of tobacco, I mean, obviously, I had a friend ask me to bring him some tobacco back because obviously it's much cheaper, and it's cheap. I mean, it's so cheap.
Yeah, it's dirt cheap in Spain, man.
That's because it normally is dirt. I mean, you know,
Well, yeah.
Just one of them old camel face.
Josh brought his friend back a pack of death. You know,
Yeah.
I've
When you
tried
really
to
want to be
convert
bringing
him
up
many
on a
times.
vape shop.
Just one of them, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. For him. He's not my best friend as well, so it's horrible. But you know, it's I've tried many times. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. So
yeah, some people just don't want to, you know what I mean? They're quite happy smoking, knowing the risks and this and that and the other, and they want to smoke. Do you know what? Let them smoke. That's what I say.
there's so many times I can preach to him. Do you know what I mean? And it
Yeah, but he's heard, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's not
You
really.
You got to have a big enough gun. He'll drink.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Big enough stick.
Like you could all drown it.
I mean, you know,
yeah, can't get guns in this country that easy.
In the UK, smoking is quite antisocial. It's seen as quite an antisocial thing. You're not allowed to smoke in bars, in pubs, clubs, this, that, the other. You've got outside, bus stops, yeah, telephone boxes. I don't know, anywhere that's considered a public place. Yeah, my friend's got a work van and he's not allowed to smoke. And even though he's the only person that's insured to be allowed in it, even as a passenger, right? And he's got no smoking in his van to tell him he's not allowed to smoke in his own van, which is just nuts. But you know what I mean?
A lot of wagons are like that now, man. A lot of companies are doing that.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Some places you can't even smoke it at work on the premises.
Go on Ariel's page.
Yeah, have a look at what's on there that is showing just now.
It's actually an old ad. They ran it a few years back and it just disappeared for a while, but apparently they brought it back. It's that ad where they said like vaping gets in your brain and it shows the little bugs crawling in the brain. Yeah. It's actually been around a while. They just stopped.
I remember about 6 years ago, before vaping was killing the kids, weren't mobile phones and tablets and stuff gonna all ruin our lives and
radiate your brain and stuff?
Yeah, you know, and the blue light from the screen was making it so the kids couldn't sleep and this and that and the other, and they couldn't concentrate. And kids were going crazy and they were addicted to watching YouTube videos and all this crap.
Yeah,
like, you know.
About phones, apparently spending more than 20 minutes a day on a mobile phone or any electronic device is causing our children to have ADHD.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. And before that, it was computer games, then it was rap music, and then it was horror films before that. And do you know what I mean? It's just they will always find something to demonize. Do you know what I'm saying? And people will always look for something to blame. Like they can't just accept stuff for what it is. They've got to dig around and look for reasons and explanations on stuff. And so I said,
but don't you think that lot's come along with this? You know, I always call it the snowflake mentality.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Not being funny, right? If this is how these young kids now are dealing with life, right? How the fuck are they going to get adults? I pity them, man. I really do. Well, killed that.
Sorry, I was just reading the comments there. I was just reading. Anything that can be classed as a workspace, you can't smoke in. And if you live in a council housing association house, if you have workmen, you can't smoke in your house while they're in it.
Yep.
Yeah, good for telling me that I couldn't smoke in my house while workmen were in it. Good, like, you know, like house is your house. Like, you know, like
weren't council houses at one time trying to sort of say to people that you can't smoke in the property?
No,
yeah. It was round the Midlands I was trying to do it. I remember that.
Yeah. Hello.
This is his licking his fingers.
I was going to say, what was he licking then?
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Look at that. It's like PO. I tell you what, if you'd have froze that, it'd have been like POV porn.
I was watching
Josh with his pouch.
For that, Sippy.
I was watching that the other day. I went to dripping my RDA, and it just went. I literally just missed, and it just went all down my hand. And I was just like watching on the TV, and I just carried on dripping. I was like, ah, shit.
Hey,
mate, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what's the killer. I'll tell you what's the killer. When you're dripping in the car, right? You're driving somewhere, and like you pull up at the lights, you have a quick drip, don't you? And you fucking miss the RDA and get it on your trousers. And we all know that stain ain't going anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
That oil stain. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, you know,
Hey, Zippy.
When I went to town,
we got to talk about. I can't believe nobody's talked about the elephant in the room.
the beard.
He cut his beard.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah. Didn't notice.
Fiona got the stripper out.
It's because it normally blends in with his top, you know what I mean?
No shit. You can see his neck.
Yeah, I've got a neck and like 3 chins under there. Didn't even know I had them.
At least you didn't do a zip, mate. That's all we can say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All this talk now as well about the TPD in the UK is going to be revisited again after Brexit, which is like that's kind of like the what's it called, the sign in the pub that I used to go that says free beer tomorrow, and every day you go in there and it still says free beer tomorrow. I mean, you know, like when's Brexit actually going to happen for that to go through, and what changes are they going to make? Like it's been said in there, I've just been reading up and down the comments that Juul are actually lobbying the government at the moment, the UK government, to get rid of the 20 milligram cap on nicotine strength, so they can try and get their high nicotine products into the UK market as well.
And I'll tell you what, if that ever happens, man.
Well, I mean, no politics. Yeah.
Oh God, here we go.
Yeah, it is everything.
See, it's only when you prompt him that it's politics that he starts.
Yeah.
Stop prompting him. Otherwise, it's good to have him back. He just goes off on his own little tangent.
We missed him. We missed our Jason Statham.
I have missed him, man.
It is weird seeing him down there again.
Tom, to answer your question,
hang on.
Yeah.
Chris, please rephrase your words, man. It's good to see him down there again.
Yeah, I know.
Be careful what you say, man.
Can Zippy have a cup to his baby? Tom making digs at Zippy's inability to grow a proper beard.
He is. Do you know what? The amount I shaved off this thing, I could have actually given both Andy and Chris a full head of hair and a little goatee again.
Yeah, man. We'll start a GoFundMe. People can donate hair.
Hey, look, right, hair's overrated, and when it happens, you just got to embrace the baldness. Otherwise,
exactly,
you
man.
Like one of them 1950s babies, a bit like Zippy.
Yeah.
Like Little Island.
Listen. I'm being treated for PTSD for having what I did. I'm still having trauma from that one slip.
You know, when you go to a hotel and they give you a bit of toast and that little bit of butter, and you're trying to cover the whole bit of bread with it. That's what it's like with his hair in the morning. He's like,
yeah, damn straight, man. Damn straight. So, listen, 44 years I've been holding on to this come Wednesday. I'm not giving up that fight easy, man.
I mean, Shed Bears just said that from a manufacturer that they spoke to, they're looking at binning off short fills. Well, I mean, short fills were a workaround as a loophole, that was used because of the language in the legislation. It only included anything that had nicotine in it, so that's how they got around it. So obviously, if it's going to be rewritten, then they're going to you know what I mean? Like they're going to write it so that short fills are gone. And I think that's always been the case. You know.
But I mean that's just something that's been the wick's been lit on that. We're just waiting for that to go off.
One thing to remember with that is, though, with all the big green incentives and stuff that the government are wanting to put in about reducing plastic waste and everything like that, they're not going to want to substitute one of these bottles for 12 little ones.
No.
That's one thing that they're going to have to think about.
And then a box for them 12 bottles to go in, and you know, so yeah, there is that as well. I mean, you know, we're quite big over here with our recycling and stuff like that, you know. So I mean, maybe that will have a role to be said. Maybe it won't. I mean, you know.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If that is what they did, and they sacked off all big bottles, and we had to get 10 mils, fine. I mean, but.
It depends how much 10 mils cost. That's the problem.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is very true.
If you're paying £30 or more.
Yeah.
And you got for me, I'll take a bottle out. If I take 10 mils, I've got to take
right. Got you now. Right. Okay. So they're on about upping the maximum size of the bottle to 60 ml. So. Okay.
That would cut down on a lot of waste, you know. They really would.
Well, it'd cut down on a lot of shit nick shots, ruining good juice as well, which, not being funny. How many times has it happened in the past where...
Sorry, Andy.
Well, no, I was just saying, you go and you put a nick shot into some juice, you spend 20 quid on a bottle of juice, on a 120 or whatever. You put 2 nick shots in it, and it makes it so harsh you can't even vape it. because of the shit quality nick shots that people are giving away for free.
To sit for like 6 months where you can actually vape it.
Yeah. And even then, you go back to it, it's black. You know, when you go back to it, it's black. I've never liked the nick shots. I've never really, I've never liked the whole thing.
60 mil max, keeping the max nick at 20 milligram. There's still fight going on with the 2 mil tank sizes. That was from Vaping with it.
Yeah. I mean, I've always thought that, you know, they've got to be able to do something about it, but the 2 mil tank size to me just seems stupid. I mean, I don't know what that law actually does. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't get what that actual part for TPD. I don't understand what it does, what it's for, and it's the same now. If you buy a squonk in the UK, they can't actually have with them because the maximum size is 2 mil. So a lot of them, they send you the squonk bottle as a free gift, and it just automatically adds as you go into your shopping cart, like, you know, because it's the same thing. But that whole 2 mil thing's never made any sense to me. You know, it's just, it just doesn't make sense. Then 60 milligram, 3 milligram, more than 3 milligram will have to be in 10 mil. Yeah, I suppose that makes sense because the majority of people that are vaping more than 3 milligram are probably using pod systems and stuff like that anyway. You know, so that makes sense, you know, so they're not going to be burning through as much juice as people that vape that sub-ohm. I mean, you know, like, some RTAs and stuff, literally, all you got to do is look at it and the juice goes down, you know? Like, when you're sub-ohming, the amount of juice compared to, like, nick salts or whatever, it's quite a big amount.
Rabbit, over there,
Hello there.
your 20 milligram nick salt, whatever you get, what's like, can you get it in 100 mil bottles?
No, the majority of the nick salts over here are 30 mil bottles.
I've got some 30 mil.
But you can also get anywhere from 20 milligram up to 50 plus. Like, it's insane.
I've got a 65 that came over. I can't remember the brand off the top of my head, but I've got a 65. I've got from Lifted Liquids. They do one of their brands, Vape Heads. Smurf Sauce, it's got that over here, and that's coming from over there, and that's a 30 mil, 25 milligram, I think, which is, that to me is a bit much, you know, like if I'm honest with you, I found that a bit.
Well, the most common over here is 25 and 50. That's the most common. It's like, it's crazy though, because a lot of them do things different. Like, you'll have some companies that are 28 and 48, some are 25 and 45, some are 20 and 35. And then you got the majority are 25 and 50. I just don't, me personally, I don't see a point in having a 50 milligram anything, but I do have a couple friends that's all they vape, man. They have like a crap ton of pod systems and every one of them has 50 milligram fruity menthol. It's like, oh.
I mean, I've heard of people smoking, you know, 2 or 3 packets of fags a day, 40 to 60 fags a day, right? I have heard of people that have done that. And, you know, but then people are few and far between. Anything that needs to be that high, surely that can be available in a dispensary or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't get, you know, the level of going that high. Nobody's, you know,
you don't need
most people, you know, they're
you could say that was
20 cigarettes a day sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but 20 what? 20 silk cuts or 20 Marlboro Reds? See, there's a difference there. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, there's a big difference there in strength and how much you're actually getting. You know, from brand to brand. My dad smoked JPS. Like, they were lung leaders, man.
I was at 35 to 40 cigarettes a day when I quit and started vaping, and I quit. And I was using an 18 milligram in one of those little ego pens, and I don't know, man. To me, I think that I honestly believe that the majority, like 80% of it, is mental.
Are you doing so?
I think people are telling themselves they have to have it to quit. When you don't, you're like, I could get anybody to quit cigarettes on a 3 or a 6. It
Man,
just depends on what you're using and how much you're hitting it.
I'm using 10 milligram and I get a head rush off that.
Yeah, the only way to quit is when your body starts craving the cigarette, you vape until the craving goes away. Like, it's super simple. And the more your body gets used to getting the nicotine that it needs from the vapor, you'll stop craving the cigarette. Like, it took me almost 6 months to a year before I stopped craving the cigarette. I just stayed away from them and kept vaping. If I felt the craving, I'd vape more, and before you knew it, I didn't need them. Now I can't stand to be around them. The smell from down the block makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah. For me,
I'm having to zip off. I'll catch you guys in a bit.
Jesus Christ, Vic, Woodbines, go back a bit there, aren't you, mate? Fucking Woodbines, they are proper lung bleeders. They are like Chesterfields.
I remember my granddad smoking Park Drive.
Woo.
I mean, you know, my nan, she used to smoke Rothmans from JPS and
granddad
stuff
used
like
all the time.
Vape, saying about people sub-ohming 18 milligram. Do you remember Expo with me, you, and Vape Shed? And we were sub-ohming the Nick Salts. It was the first time. This was a couple of years ago, and we were doing it, and it was literally like we stood there. Do you remember? It's when the mic dropped, and like literally, I was having to hold on
a
to
throat hit, love.
Throat hit.
That was a throat hit and a half. I think the mistake I made was I'd done a 35mm Nick shot. I thought I'd juiced up the RDA with like normal juice, and I hadn't. I'd put a 35 Nick shot in the RDA. So,
well,
that hit. That had a good hit.
My wife made a good point that like we quit smoking before there was salt Nick. Like
we didn't need salt Nick to get off it. I mean,
a lot of people quit without salt Nick. So, in my opinion, I really don't think like we have to have it. Like,
I've never been able to handle anything above 12, really, without coughing my gut. I've never really been able to, even when I was using like ego type pens and stuff like that way back when, and when you could get the higher milligram stuff. I know other people that were using it, but I started on 12 and then I went down to 6 and then I went down to 3, and that's where I've stayed, and that was all within the space of 6 months. 6 months of me starting vaping, I went down from, do you know what I mean? I went down from 12, which is what I started on when I went into the shop, and then, that was within the first 6 months, and I've stayed at 3 milligrams since then. Anything more?
I've been on 3 milligram for ages, you know what I mean? As long as I can remember. And I mean, I went round Expo with half of my juice, and I hadn't even got nicotine in it. It weren't until I got home on the evening, and I was like, "Hang on, I've been vaping no Nick all day."
I vape,
you know what I mean?
Quite a lot of the time.
Don't get me wrong, I was getting the craving for a proper vape, and I couldn't figure out why.
I started
with all the vaping there. It was like, what's it?
Yeah, I started vaping on 24 milligram juice.
Yeah,
but that was on like a little old silica wit tank.
What Chris is saying right here, Chris Bampanato, when he was using salt Nick, he noticed his cravings increased, and so he stopped it as well. And that is something that I will say is right. And I've noticed it, and which is why I only use them every now and again. I don't. Do you know what I mean? Use salt on a daily basis.
It's only natural, really, from a smoker's point of view, switching to vaping. That something like Nick salt is going to increase it, because I mean it's a completely different, delivery system. The hit and everything else in it. So if you're starting on, somebody saying, "Oh, you want 20mm Nick salt," straight away you're up in it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, Kate Allen saying then, and this is how simple it gets to me. People believing they need more milligram than when they started with cigs is insane. And this is the actual thing. Is I think around sort of like 10, 12 milligrams, is it in the UK? Sort of, it's around
that.
So why ever need anything more than that when vaping actually delivers nicotine better? I think you absorb more, do you, from vaping? I always think.
I just said so, because it's straight away, isn't it? That's the whole point of it.
And I legit don't even use salt Nick in my pod systems. Like, I use a 12 milligram freebase for my pods. Like, I've just never been a fan of salt nic. Like, I don't like the way it makes my throat and my chest feel. Like, I'm just not a fan of it. I don't think we need it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
I've only
I'd
recently
be happy with that as well.
I've only recently got into Nick salts, and to be honest,
Kate.
Like, that's
Yeah.
I mean, that's dead on.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't mind Nick Salt. I quite like Nick Salt, and I vaped when 20 came out. I vaped it for a little while, but I find I vaped it too much. It would make me really angry. Like,
yeah. I mean, how long have Nick salts been around now?
2
I mean,
years.
I've only known about them for 2 years. You know what I mean?
I think it's
So you know, for the first, so if we say two to 3 years tops,
I mean,
for the last 15 years of vaping, that means for 12 years of them, nobody's ever quit with Nick salt.
Right, so this is the other thing as well, right? Nick salts as well is the only thing, the new thing really to come into vaping that could possibly be behind some of these illnesses, maybe. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, no, because
Nick salts aren't going to agree with everybody.
well,
I mean, I've found with Nick salts, you know, that sometimes I do get a bit of heartburn or something. You know what I mean? I was talking to my pal about it, and he turned around and he said it was the same. He never had a problem with Nick salts. Yeah, another customer went in, they were like, you know, oh, got this heartburn and stuff. And
I get heartburn,
you know,
from Nardalo. I think that's just like an individual. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
just. I mean, Samuel Adams just said there, in his opinion, Nick salts do tend to chew up stock coil, something chronic. Whereas he's always felt a freebase is a bit more flavorful. His brick and mortar shop seems to think otherwise, though. And this was originally when Nick salts first came out in the UK. This is what people were saying to me, was they were smoother than normal nicotine, right? So when you added them to your, I can't vape. I'm able to vape 20 milligram. I've never been able to vape 20 milligram from normal juice. Do you know what I mean? Like for normal juice. So it is that little bit smoother. But I mean, I like the way the idea was put to me was of using them as a nick shot. So you'd still be getting the 3 milligram, but without this harshness. See, because this is the problem we were having was with all these shit nick shots in the UK, it was ruining a lot of people's juices. So people in the UK were looking for something else other than, you know what I mean? Like the regular nick shots. They were looking for something that wasn't as harsh. And I think that's what the original idea was. But now I'm hearing about people vaping 60 milligram and stuff, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like, you know.
No wonder kids are getting a buzz off it.
yeah.
Who needs anything else?
I remember the first time I had Nick salts, and I was in the phone, and he was like, "Oh, try this," and he had it. It was almost like it was direct to lung, but it was quite direct to lung. And I was sat there, and I hit it like I would a normal vape, and I had to hold on to the table, like physically hold on to the table before I was going to fall off the chair. And but it's one of those.
I tried Nick Salt once in a standard bottle of juice, and he was just so harsh, so horrible. I don't find it harsh.
Yeah, I mean, like I've got a 10 milligram. The only reason was I just grabbed this just because I actually like this particular juice. And this 10 milligram, you know, it gives me a bit of the head rush, but you know, it's not that harsh, you know. Whereas I think if it was 10 milligram of freebase, then it'd be a lot harsher. So you know, it is I think. I mean, I can see a place for them, but if they're going to be exploited, you know, the way that they've been in the US, then it's not really a good thing. I don't think.
And for the UK, I'm happy to see it go. That's the main thing. You know, if it's no Nick Salt or no vaping, then I'm happy to see Nick Salt go.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Same with pod systems. If they say, right, okay, we've got to get rid of all pod systems, that's the answer to this issue. I'd be like, okay, you know, because that's
not being funny. That's what's been blamed for this issue.
Yeah.
You know, the pod system, delivery systems, you know, the Nick Salt, this, that, and the other, all those things have been brought into question. So yeah, get rid of them. They're not, you know, it's not something that, you know, like I said in the case of Juul and stuff, they've never been accepted, but they started a trend with other companies to bring out these systems. And, you know, these systems work. You know, there's some bloody good systems out there at the minute, and they do work. They do what they're meant to do. But I'd be quite happy to see them go. I'd be quite happy to go back to a tank and a mod, regulated.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, my first one was an IPv4, I think it was, with a Maganus Nautilus tank.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean that was my first setup 4.5 years ago.
I mean, this might be really selfish of me to say this, but as long as they don't get rid of mechs and sub-ohming and stuff like that, I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's my own selfishness, because that is my bread and butter. You know, that's what I like. And yeah, that's exactly, Sam. That's what I was saying before. You know, like Nick Salts is probably the newest thing into the industry. So, you know, I think that, and that's another thing, maybe why the illness in America and stuff like that, you know, is because that's another thing that you've got over there that we don't, is these crazy high amounts of nicotine, you know, like these crazy nicotine strokes.
There's a lot more to come out. There is a lot more to come out.
Well, yeah.
And there's a lot more, but I think they, you know, as everyone's saying, they need to be looking at these newer products and focusing on them, because for the last 15 years or 12 years in the case of some of this stuff, it's worked. There's never been an issue.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is now you've got that many companies now that are jumping on the vaping bandwagon. You know, they're bringing out these products. We don't know how good them products are. You know, they're as new to us as everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't know what materials they're being made of, where them bits are being sourced. You know, because we all know you start looking for materials and everything else, the quality isn't there. It's cheaper because the quality's not there.
Well, also, you got to look at it. You got to look at it from this point. Like, say it's any other industry. Say it's the automobile industry, and we've had cars for 70 years, and all of a sudden, like next year, they start putting in a specific type of computer system that does something with the cars, and by the end of next year, we've got 40 deaths because and they're all in the newer cars. Like,
they don't ban all cars, do they?
You're not going to ban all motor vehicles. You're going to figure out what's wrong with the system that's doing it, and you'll pull them and you'll fix it. So we've been vaping for many, many years, and we're all of a sudden in 2019 having issues with certain things. Then why are we not focused on those specific items and fixing them? Why are we trying to get rid of everything on a wide sweep? Like, that's the problem, is they're just trying to fucking blanket the whole industry and get rid of it. Like, that's just insanity to me.
Yeah, that's the thing that I can't get my head around, is that, it's like you say, like, dueling is different to vaping, and you want to see some sort of distinction there, because, everybody's being tarred with the same brush. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you got, like, back to the round table thing with, and you've got the guy and he keeps saying that, but they're the biggest and they don't have flavors, and that's that. Do you know what I mean? They're the biggest, they don't have flavors.
Well, they say that we learn lessons from history. We learn lessons from the past. Well, for the past so many years, it's worked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, we need to be looking at the now and going forward, not what's been proven to work, what's, in a lot of cases, medically and scientifically backed up. You know what I mean? Why are we questioning? We rely on figures and scientific fact and all that. Why are we questioning it now?
Yeah, see, this is the whole thing. When the TPD came in the UK, this was the whole thing. Was everybody was worried that if we claimed it was a smoking cessation device, that it would end up only being allowed to be sold by chemists and stuff and tobacconists. And you wouldn't be allowed to sell it from a vape shop, which would have completely ruined the vape community. It would have been, if they wanted to say it was a smoking cessation aid in the UK, and then it would be put into the same bracket as nicotine gum and patches and stuff like that. And it wouldn't be able to be in the same manner as what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and
I basically just want distinction. Like that's all I want. Like I would be happy if you could just put them in separate categories. Like everyone in this chat, everyone in this group, on this live feed, everyone that we've got like focused on this specific time right now, we all vape. Like you can tell by the comments, you can tell by what people are saying in our YouTube. Like we are vapers. We vape. Like that's what we do. Every single person is so focused that's anti-vape on the fact that Juul is vaping and THC cartridges are vaping and all that. The problem is it's not the same thing. It's not.
No.
It's not me dripping a 3 milligram on my dripper or filling up my sub-ohm tank with a 3 milligram. It's not the same thing as going to a gas station and buying a Juul with a freaking knockoff pod. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as me going to get a THC cartridge and screwing it on a 510 battery and getting high. It's not the same thing. We have got
the only connection is the delivery system.
That's it. That's it.
That is all. And not being funny, I can use that delivery system and put one juice in. I can use that one and put one juice in.
That was one thing I noticed, though, was that there wasn't a lot of talk about the deaths from vaping at the round table thing. That sort of that took a bit of a backseat, didn't it?
Because they finally came out and proved that it wasn't. So that's what blows my mind. Is like it's funny because when you look at their attack from three months or so ago,
that's what they started with. That's what they started.
Changed. Like it's completely fucking changed. It's completely different because. They tried to ban it all in 1 month, and we fought hard as fuck, and they couldn't.
Yeah.
So now we finally get them to push out factual information, and we start to see a turn. And they go, okay, well, they proved that that they're not killing people, so now we're going to switch gears, and we're going to blame everything on children. Well, all the kids we got to save our kids. Like, listen, 5 fucking kids. I have 5 kids. None of them vape. And all know why they're not supposed to. Like it's super fucking simple, people. Like I bang my head against the fucking wall watching these people talk about how kids are getting a hold of vapes. Then do your fucking job. Like, why are you destroying my industry because you're not parenting? Like that blows my fucking mind. And they're like, oh, well, all my friends at school are getting a hold of vapes. Well, then the parents need to parent. That's their job. That's not the government's job. The government
that responsibility for your own children.
Like, Jesus.
Liam Red Rockney Twit could be heard saying you killed kids. Yeah. If I'm honest, I mean, I just couldn't even believe that guy, Just some of the stuff that was said was just absolutely ridiculous. There's so much positive stuff that went on in the roundtable meeting.
Absolutely.
We're too focused on the few negative, which we've heard for months, to realise it was a good meeting. Yeah, that's right. Everybody else in the room was against vaping. I'd say probably like 80% of the people in the room were against it. So for enough of that amount of positive stuff to be said and actually heard and information to go out there, I think that's a great thing.
Nice. I mean, the thing is, we've spent the last 3 months. Sorry, I missed that.
Touched on
outraged parents when Juul went into the school. Yeah,
was that they actually said that a Juul representative went into a school pretending to be some other type of advocate for something else, and went in there and saying, Juul's not for kids, but it's totally healthy, it's totally fine, it's totally good for you, and all this stuff. And, Donald Trump raised an eyebrow and looked over at the Juul representative there, but nobody else said anything about that.
Exactly.
Just sat there. They didn't say shit. They didn't deny it. They didn't say, hey, whoa, hang on a minute. We never done that. Because... And that goes back to the distinction, the separation. Like, that's why we need the separation. Like, they're basically saying that all of us are marketing to kids. No, we're not. You've already pinpointed the culprit. Go after them. Leave us the fuck alone. Like, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're selling to adults. We're keeping kids out of the vape shops. Like, why the fuck are you going after us when you already pinpointed the person that did it?
Yeah. I mean, the thing for me is we've spent the last 3 months focusing on negative and everything else. That needs to change.
Yes.
You know, we now need, you know, if you look at what's going on now, you know, a lot of people are being swayed, a lot of people are changing their minds, you know, states are being overturned on their rulings. They're massive things because each one of them that falls is another gain for us. That's what we should be focusing on, and that's what we should be going after.
And also, my heart goes out to Massachusetts, man. Last week was rough,
Yeah.
and I pray to God that our president steps in, wakes up, and he just says, "No, that shit ain't gonna work," and he overturns it, because that's insanity, man. Like, you cannot vape flavored vaping products in Massachusetts right now. It is illegal.
No.
Like, that is insane to me.
I mean, at least they're not going to take your car off you if you're vaping anymore, though, right?
I know.
I mean,
that's what they tried to get. Like, they tried to show that as like well, guess what? We won't take your car if you're vape. Well, like, you shouldn't touch my vape at all. Like, I'm a grown ass adult. Like, that's the crazy.
So what
part.
about so okay? So you're not allowed to vape flavors in Massachusetts. So if I live in a neighboring state and I'm driving through Massachusetts and I'm vaping a flavored, you know, a flavor that's not come from, and I get stopped by the police and they say to me, what happens then?
If they investigate it's a flavor, I'm pretty sure the first instance is a fine. Like,
What? If I'm not
you get
from
a ticket.
Massachusetts, I'm just passing through.
It don't matter.
You're not allowed at all.
It's illegal in that state to vape flavored nicotine products.
It's
That's crazy.
mental.
That is just absolutely stupid.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's one of these things. They want the tax money. The doctors, pharma, big tobacco want their cut of the vape pie. I've said that for quite a while, but you know, it's one of them.
The thing
things.
is that's proven now.
Yeah.
That's proven now. What, you know, and it's been proven, and it's something that's been argued from the very beginning. And you know, that's why I'm hoping that, you know, that's the message that people need to be pushing. You know, and that's how these small battles are going to be won.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
I think Zippy's on the right path here. I think that we do need to focus on the positive a little bit with our YouTube show, because we have stayed on top of everything and we have kept our leaguers informed. But we need our leaguers to understand that we are making positive strides and good things are happening. Like, we had 2 or 3 of our largest advocates for this industry sitting in the White House with the President of the United States at the same table, sitting there talking to the president about our industry. Like, that is amazing. Like,
that's massive progress from the
that.
original attitude 3 months ago.
Yes. Like, we should
3 months ago, no, he wouldn't have wanted to know. We now have a way into the White House.
Yeah.
Go back 6 months ago, everybody was kind of complacent and just thinking that nothing was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know? And suddenly, bang, you know, that announcement on September 11th, and everything's just gone from bad to worse. But, you know, like, it's crazy the way, like Rabbit said, they've changed tack completely. First of all, it was, you know, killing the kids. Now it's an addiction. I mean, I know I've said it already, but that whole thing about like parents not recognizing their kids anymore, you know, star athletes not being able to run a mile anymore, and this and that and the other, and all this kind of stuff. Are you sure they're not smoking something else or vaping something else? Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You know? That's the thing. What are they vaping?
It's anything now, right? Yeah. Anything now. Anybody wants to blame on anything, they just say, "Hey, look, it's my jewel." Yeah. You know, I've been jeweling. That's what it is, and that's what it seems to me, is that it's just, you know.
Yeah, but that's the distinguishing thing right there. We haven't been vaping; we've been jeweling.
Yeah, that's it. It's got its own term, so it's very obvious.
And that's a common term for it too. Like, that's what they use. That's why I don't understand the attack on vaping when they use the term jeweling. Why not have an attack on jeweling then? Why are you attacking our industry over another industry?
But like, I think that's now starting to be more apparent. And obviously, you know, with what went on in the White House and everything else, you know, hopefully now they are seeing this sudden change, and it's like, hang on, we have got it wrong.
Yes.
You know, as I say, the problem is you've got states that are going to do their own thing, but hopefully, you know, like I was saying the other week, you know, you drop a stone in the water, it causes big ripples.
We're definitely making,
you know what I mean?
making positive strides, which is important. I mean, you got to understand, we're all human, we're all vapors, and this stuff does get under our skin, and we do get it. We do get emotional about it because we care about this industry. But on a bright side, if you're fighting for this industry, keep fighting, because we're doing positive things. We're making a stride to a better result. Like, they are at least listening. They are at least starting to reach out. You know, I got chill bumps when I saw Gregory Connolly sitting over there next to the president. Like, I got chill bumps. I was like, this is amazing. Like, we have people that believe in this industry like we do. People that know this is a life-saving technology. People that know it's 95.5% safer. Like, we have people that know this sitting in the White House next to the president of the United States. Like, that is amazing. Like, that is, like, I'm starting to shake right now. Like, that is fucking amazing. Like, we made some amazing strides in this past week, and we should be proud of that shit. Like, we've
done a lot in 3 months.
Proud of it.
We've done a lot in 3 months.
Yes, a lot.
You know what I mean? From where this originally started to now, you know, we can only get stronger, and we can only get better. I mean, let's not forget, you know, this isn't just, you know, America and what's it. You know, you've got the Philippines, you've got, you know, Australia in some extents. I believe it's South Australia. You know, you've got India and everyone else all reaching out to the USA and the UK now for advice and, you know, for what's going on in their countries. You know, so this isn't just being seen here and in your what's it. This is being seen around the world now.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot more voices coming out. There's a lot more campaigns coming out. And, you know, it's adding to our number.
And watching the people stand up in the Philippines and in these other countries and actually fighting and holding rallies and speaking about vaping, like, that's amazing. Like, we are involved in a movement. Like, this is history happening in, like, right here in front of us, and we are doing something positive to help save an industry that literally, I can't stress it enough, is built on saving lives. Like, that is super important.
I mean, I've said that before, that vaping's a worldwide revolution. It's an anti-smoking movement, you know, and it's any sort of movement like that, you're going to get people that, you know, Chinese manufacturers donating to the VTA to help fund the US fight, and that's great. That's absolutely great. Again, probably a little bit out of self-interest because of the amount of products that they sell there. You know,
but still, look how many companies that made a shit ton of money off this industry that aren't, like, where's their $500,000?
Yeah.
I know of small manufacturers that were making like close to 10 million a year, and I haven't seen them donate $500,000. Like, that's
I haven't seen some of them advocate, man.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's fucking crazy. And then you got a company that steps up in China and donates 500 million, plus they're going to donate a percentage of profits each month. Like, that's
two companies stand up and give $500,000 as well. Each.
Yeah,
I can't remember who that was, but I remember seeing some. Who?
You can't come in here with news like that and turn around and say, "Oh, I can't remember."
It was Vapepresso.
That was it.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Nice one. Do his job for him, mate.
I got you, Chris. Oh yeah, and hey, no matter what, we absolutely cannot forget this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really weird when they both went off camera a second ago.
Yeah.
They both disappeared at the same time.
Exactly. The secret's out now. Was you at his barbecue?
Look at Andy. He's down there sexting them right now.
Yeah.
And Andy, was you at his barbecue?
Huh?
Was you at his
I
barbecue?
went to barbecue, mate. I went to no spit roast either.
That's where he's been all this time. He's been trapped in his backyard, isn't
Yeah,
he? He hasn't been ill. He's been trapped in his backyard.
He's been trapped in.
Stoking the coals, isn't he?
Hey, if y'all are cool with it, it feels awesome to have Andy back. I'd like to give him final words tonight.
Yeah, man.
If y'all want to do that, and we'll let Andy give him the.
Can I just say one thing though?
Yeah.
One quick thing, right? I've had a lot of people messaging me about that.
Oh,
right. It is been coming close to the final stages, but next week I'm going to have a surprise because there's more to come.
All right,
Josh, you're going to love it. You especially are going to love it.
Am I?
Make sure you overnight.
Yeah. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say in this live. That mod, when I tried it on the Friday of the expo, that would make me put this down. I am not joking.
Shut up.
Nice.
No, I guarantee with what's coming, you are going to put that mod down.
I like them sounds.
Yeah.
All right.
They're very, very close. But that's all I'm going to say for now. I'll show you next week. So, Andy, the floor's yours, man.
Yeah, give us the final word.
Right then, yeah. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Just remember, everybody, about the Facebook group. Send in your emails. Anything you want us to talk about on the show. There's the LXV Vapers on Instagram. There's our email address. Any subjects you want us to talk about. Anything you want at all, just any questions or whatever, just send them in. Like I say, everybody just needs to keep up with the advocacy really at the moment, and I've been away for a few weeks and I've come back and everything's all up in the air still. But yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody for being loyal and coming back week after week after week, and it's good to be back. I want to thank Krabs as well for coming on as well earlier on today, to hear somebody else's point of view on stuff. And yeah, just thanks everybody for tuning in.
Awesome, man. We love you guys, and we'll see y'all.
Hang on. Can I just say sorry?
Yeah.
On behalf of Vinny, he's gutted he couldn't make it tonight, but for the next 24 hours, man, just leave him be for a bit.
Give him a bit of breathing room, people.
He needs it.
Yeah.
And Benny, we love you, brother.
Yeah. We love you all. You guys.
Yeah,
We've got guys. Love you guys.
Thanks for joining.